From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, Atiku Abubakar speaks on internal crisis rocking People's Democratic Party. Terrorists kill security men, workers abduct 4 Chinese from Niger mining site. Nigeria displays commitment to honor debt obligations, redeems $300 million diaspora bond. Away from Nigeria, 4 Sudanese protesters killed in mass rallies against army rule. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. Now, beginning with political stories, former Vice President and presidential flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party for the 2023 elections, Atiku Abubakar says that the party will remain united despite its being rocked by fresh crisis. Atiku made the comment in a Twitter post Thursday following disagreements arising from the emergence of Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State as his running mate for the 2023 elections. The animosity has degenerated into a full-blown dispute among party leaders, with some calling for the ouster of the national chairman of the party, Iyorchia Ayu. Atiku said efforts are being made to resolve grievances of party members. At least 17 people have been killed and several others injured when terrorists attacked a mining site managed by the Chinese nationals at Ajata Aboki in Gurmana ward of Shiroro local government area of Niger State. The State Commissioner for Internal Security and Humanitarian Affairs, Emmanuel Umar, confirmed the attack in a statement on Thursday, but said that the number of casualties were yet to be ascertained. Umar said that the terrorists were engaged by the Joint Security Team, resulting in casualties from both sides. The attack was reportedly launched on Wednesday afternoon, during which 7 persons, including mobile policemen guarding the miners and workers, were killed. The attackers, reportedly armed with sophisticated weapons, were said to have arrived in the community around 2 p.m. and headed to the mining site, shooting at anyone on site. Now, the former Deputy President of the Senate, Ike Ekweremadu, on Thursday appeared before Uxbridge Magistrate Court in London, where he is facing charges under Britain's Modern Slavery Act. Ekweremadu, who spoke twice during his appearance to confirm his name and date of birth, had his case fast-tracked. His wife, Beatrice, who in her defense asked the court to allow her to appear by his side because she has not seen him since the hearing last Thursday, was not granted the request. The prosecutor, who claims that David Ukpo, who alleged that he was coerced to donate his kidney to the senator's daughter, is 15 years, added that David was allegedly picked up from the streets in Lagos by a criminal gang some months ago with the intention of organ harvesting. The case has been adjourned to July 7th at Westminster Magistrate Court to enable the UK Attorney General, Suella Braverman, to determine whether the case will be tried in the country or Nigeria. A large delegation from the Nigeria High Commission were also present in the public gallery alongside the senator's 2 adult children. Now, following recent media reports that terrorists who kidnapped passengers of the ill-fated Abuja-Kaduna train shot one of the hostages, the relatives of yet-to-be-released victims in a press briefing on Thursday threatened to commence physical protest along major roads and occupy government facilities in Kaduna and Abuja until their loved ones who are still in captivity are released. The relatives also said that the abductee shot by the terrorists needs medical attention to survive. The report.
It's been 94 horrific days for the victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack, who are still in captivity and subjected to physical and psychological trauma. Recent media reports that one of the abductees has been shot by the terrorist has sent shivers down the spine of the relatives as they fear the same fate might befall others.
We read in the media that one of our adoptees was shot by a non-state actor holding our loved ones in captivity. Unfortunately, this adoptee is left unattended to, the gunshot wound, and may lose his life, which we don't even know the state he is now.
The state of that person that has gunshot wound, no antibiotics, nobody to remove the bullets from his body. Just imagine the current situation he will be in the bush.
Despite earlier protests by the relatives and negotiations between government and the terrorists, only 11 out of the 62 kidnapped passengers have been released. Hence, they are resolved to stage a protest.
For those of us in Kaduna, in Kaduna, Abuja, the activity will start on Tuesday. We are going to have physical protests along Major Road in Kaduna. We plan to occupy some key government facilities. We are going to have sitting in those facilities. We plan to sit there till our loved ones are out.
By Tuesday next week, when the relatives plan to stage their protest, it would have been 100 days since terrorists bombed the Abuja-Kaduna train, killing at least 9 persons and abducting over 60 people.
Meanwhile, families of the Abuja-Kaduna train abductees are pleading with the National Assembly and federal government to intensify efforts to ensure the release of their loved ones still in captivity. The plea is coming on the heels of reports of the shooting and killing of one of the victims by the kidnappers on Wednesday, the 28th of June. 2 family members, speaking on behalf of others, pleaded for urgent action by the government to facilitate the release of their loved ones. Representatives Bamidele Salam from Osun State and Manu Soro Mansour from Bauchi State, on behalf of 11 other lawmakers, were on hand to receive the visitors, assuring them of the federal government's efforts to ensure the release of their victims.
Members at with the captives is being shot yesterday or 2 or 3 days ago. We don't actually know, but from the spokesperson of the bandit, or maybe let's say negotiator, one of the negotiators, released a press that there's a casualty with one of our members, which is a terrible news to us. So that's why we have to rush to meet the right people, to do the right thing, in pushing more pressure to the federal government and the security agency to continue to do more.
Please, Nigerians, we need your help. It is not funny again. The news we got this morning is one person was shot. We don't know who is next. My husband is there. His brother is there. We don't know if it will be any other person. Please help us, Nigerians. Please, we are begging. Please come to our aid.
Yesterday, we also initiated contact with 2 of the persons directly involved with the negotiation. And the purpose of that is to see
And in Gombe State, Governor Inwai Haya vows to take stringent measures to curb incessant accidents along Gombe Bypass Road. The governor ordered for installation of a road barrier to limit traffic of heavy trucks along the Gombe Bypass Road. The report.
The governor, who frowned at business owners who used to block the road while operating businesses, said the law will take its course to protect lives and property.
And all relevant stakeholders, including road transport owners and the leadership of the drivers and tanker operators, we have decided to go and join hands and put a solution to this. And I'm giving directive. It's a directive. We don't want anybody, whoever comes and settle again on the right of way or anywhere else, will be dealt with ruthlessly, because the law has no acts. We shall not respect anybody that doesn't want to follow the rules and regulations. That's the only way we can avoid destruction of lives and property.
Speaking to newsmen, the State Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Theman, vows to ensure compliance to the governor's directives.
Very critical motorists. But the directive that they actually have given is a temporary measure. Pending when more justice solutions are provided, in the interim, blocking the road is absolutely enough. Do you expect to see your definitely have to deploy our men here to ensure that we control traffic and to ensure that the time that's been allocated for umbrellas to pass here is so fulfilled.
In mid-June, 14 people were reportedly killed while 14 others were injured in two separate road crashes in Gombe metropolis. Trust TV reports that accident in Gombe Southern Bypass is very common, which has claimed dozens of lives over the years. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
The federal government said the resettlement city project in Zamfara State has reached an advanced stage of completion. The Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Iman Ibrahim, made the disclosure during a visit to IDPs at Tsunami Community in Gusau. The project is aimed at resolving settlement issues of the IDPs in Zamfara State.
Tsunami Community, a suburb of Gusau Metropolis, is home to thousands of internally displaced persons who have been sacked from their various communities by terrorists. Their homes, farms, food and other properties all destroyed. It is against these and other issues that the IDPs are appealing to the government to assist them with food, shelter and clothing in order to reduce their hardship.
The government of President Muhammadu Buhari has done a lot to intervene and provide succor for internally displaced persons as well as refugees in Nigeria. You can clearly see that some changes have occurred here. The schools that have been built, the health facility where we are in right now with this great number of women, and of course the new resettlement city that is coming up that is 95% completed. These are all efforts to help them resettle, to help them live a normal and more productive life and contribute their own quota to nation building.
The federal commissioner who visited the IDPs said the federal government is making efforts to elevate their plight and put smiles on their faces, adding that the ongoing construction of the resettlement city project has reached 90% completion. In no time, the federal government will resettle the IDPs in the state.
In the tsunami camp are victims of natural disaster. So, you know, when these things happen due to global warming, they lose their livelihoods and they lose their homes. So they've been here for a while. We're collaborating with the Zamfara state government to see that we kind of build the resilience within this camp to help them with their coping mechanisms, so that for people that wish to go back home later, when the place is built up, they can go back. But people who wish to make a new life here are able to do so. So we're going to bring in services here. We'll kind of refurbish this hospital that we're in. We'll then increase capacity of the school. We'll put in some lights, you know, make sure that it's conducive for them to start a new life.
The commissioner further said the federal government will also upgrade the tsunami IDPs with basic facilities like hospital, school, borehole, among others, so as to make it habitable.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Coming up after the break. Residents groan as scarcity hits parts of the FCT. Details and more after the break.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Welcome back. Let's have another look at the top stories again. Atiku Abubakar speaks on internal crisis rocking People's Democratic Party. Terrorist kills security men. Workers abduct 4 Chinese from Niger mining site. Now, in other news, in line with its current expansion drive, Media Trust Group is repositioning itself to serve its audience better, especially with 21st century-driven technological products and services that cater to the demands of emerging information dissemination and consumption culture. Aisha Salihu reports that the owners of Daily Trust, Trust TV, Digital Trust, Amenia, and the soon-to-come Trust Radio are rebranding their products and services to project the new dynamics of media operations with a new logo and visual identity. The report.
Media Trust Group is a diverse publishing company that has been in existence for over 2 decades with an audience base of millions within Nigeria and the diaspora. It offers qualitative products and services with the use of latest technology through self-motivated staff, working to achieve the company's objective of growing steadily into a world-class integrated communication company. At the heart of this vision is the need to leverage the digital space to bridge the communication gap occasioned by the rise of modern technology.
As of today, 24 years down the line, we feel the company has grown not just into bigger print media, but also a group, because you know we are also into TV, and very soon we are going to go into radio. And we've been having our digital platform, our online version, but we made it better. We've embraced technology, so we feel that this is the way to go. And so we are trying to become a global company.
Because we are rebranding to launch ourselves into digital world. It's a one-stop shop now, Media Trust. You have whatever you think of as far as media is concerned. We have the newspaper, we have the television, we have radio, and then we have the digital. And all in one shop, this building, this beautiful building. This goes to tell you how far this company has gone in 24 years. And it's the only media house in Nigeria that achieved this feat within the shortest possible time.
The rebranded Media Trust accommodates modern trends that satisfy stakeholders' expectations through an improved product in line with global best practices.
You know, Nigeria, we have a high population of youth, and most of these youths have embraced digital online platform. So, and these are important segment of the society that we cannot do without them. So while we will continue to be competitive, to continue to produce the print, for those that have been used to reading the hard copy, we also felt we should embrace the other segment of the society who have gone digital.
Better stories, investigative stories, serious political stories, analysis, and entertainment. We will satisfy the urge for news, the urge for entertainment, the urge for political stories, the urge for investigation.
The management is positive that the rebranding is not just about aesthetics or artistic craftsmanship, but a statement of commitment to delivering more for our readers, viewers, and indeed listeners worldwide in the years to come. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
A historical feat, really. Now, stakeholders in Osun State have pledged their support for a free, fair, and credible governorship election that is devoid of vote buying and electoral violence. This was the thrust of a stakeholders roundtable organized by Center for Transparency Advocacy and attended by representatives of youth, persons with disabilities, security agencies, media, civil societies, and officials of National Orientation Agency. The Director of National Orientation Agency in the state, Oluropo Ibikunle, the Executive Director of Center for Transparency Advocacy, Faith Nwadishi, and the CTA team of experts, Professor Anthony Kola Olusanya, urged participants to spread the message to their groups.
Agency. We have been reaching out to the public through a variety of methods. We have the interface, we have town hall meetings, we have motor rallies, we have all sorts of engagements at state level and at the various local government area levels. So the messages center on people showing active interest in the electoral process and then getting well educated as to the procedure to be adopted on the day of election, and then giving due consideration to persons with special needs, such as those with disabilities, the elderly, and the pregnant women.
As we engage the different stakeholders in the electoral value chain, we expect that they will go and cascade this training to their members, and we get the commitment from the different stakeholders to also put in their effort to ensure that there's a free, fair, and credible election. We are deploying observers across the 30 local government areas. We do our reports and recommendations as we have observed on the field.
To get everybody who are going to participate in the election, security agents, pressmen, and the voters in the society. The essence is when you do this, information from this kind of forum gets stepped down, passed into society ahead of the election. And this, on the ultimate, will translate into free, fair, credible election because people will be aware.
Now, APC governorship candidate in Delta State and Deputy Senate President Senator Ovie Omoagege has picked Osai Osanibe as his running mate for the 2023 gubernatorial election. Osanibe's nomination is contained in a statement in Abuja on Thursday, signed by Ima Niboro, Director, Communications and Media Strategy, Delta APC Gubernatorial Campaign Organization. Niboro expressed confidence that Osanibe is currently a ranking member of the Delta House of Assembly representing Ndokwa East State constituency will add immense value to the ticket. The spokesperson said that the wild jubilation that greeted the announcement of Osanibe was a clear indication of his wide acceptance as a grassroots politician. Staying with political matters, the All Progressives Congress Gombe has inaugurated a 21-man reconciliation committee tasked to resolve grievances that emerged after primaries in the state. Governor Inuwa Yahaya, who inaugurated the committee, urged aggrieved APC members to forgive one another and move forward in unity of purpose. Chairman of the committee and the state deputy governor, Manasseh Daniel, said that their job is enormous.
And make sure that there's very clear understanding between all our followership and the contestants and equally the leadership of the party. That is why we inaugurated this committee, and it comprises of very, very eminent personalities that we know can dig through whatever problem we have and find and offer a solution to our problems. And as we partake in this activity, I believe all other states, including the national, headquarters of the party have done so or are going to do so, with a view to having one united and solid family that can fight to deliver APC at all levels, from the national to state levels, inshallah, in 2023.
Feelings of dissatisfaction by some members come about. However, being members of the same APC political party, the compelling need to come together, discuss and comprehend the situation of the entire family must be done, and that is why this committee has been set up. This we must do to enable us collectively fight the external battle ahead of us. I hope all of you know the external fight. Absolutely. Your Excellency and other APC members, we the members of this committee are very much aware that the task ahead of us is difficult and a Herculean task, undoubted. Despite this, I am confident that with the caliber of the members of this committee, it shall be surmounted.
An Abia State High Court sitting in Aba has reversed itself in its earlier order, which recognized the three-man ad hoc delegates list that produced a former Abia State University Vice-Chancellor, Professor Uche Ikonne, as the People's Democratic Party's governorship candidate on May 25, 2022. This followed a suit filed by one Akoma Friday on May 16, 2022, where the court was urged to vacate its order. The court, presided over by Justice C.U. Okorafor, said that it erred in law to have granted such an order ab initio, stating that the new National Judicial Council guideline had stripped her of the jurisdiction to entertain such matter. Ikonne, believed to be Governor Okezie Ikpeazu's anointed candidate, emerged after the court had issued an order on May 17, 2022, stating that only the three-man ad hoc delegates list should be used for the purpose of electing the party's governorship candidate. The media should take its traditional role of holding government to account by ensuring transparency and accountability in government business. The advice is given at capacity building on role of media in deepening fiscal transparency measures in Nigeria. Dati Ahmed reports.
Public procurement and recruitment in government establishments are often done in secrecy. At least 483 ministries, departments, and agencies failed transparency and integrity tests conducted by the Center for Transparency and Integrity Watch using laws and conventions governing government businesses. Executive Director of the Center, Umar Yakubu, believes that being proactive in combating corrupt tendencies will bring about the needed changes in governance.
Subsequently, we're trying to encourage them so that they will do better. And I can assure you, if they do better, the government will be better. So don't see it as a failure. It was the first one. That's why we're having programs like this and engaging the media so that they can deepen the conversation towards ensuring that those MDAs put up all this information or the necessary information that promotes good governance and transparency on their websites.
Director General Bureau for Public Service Reforms, Ibrahim Dasuki, said reforms allowing for full disclosure on government spendings will amount to nothing if not utilized by the media.
We have these innovations that we have introduced, which have just started, and I would just say is a work in progress. We're making quite a lot of progress. Corruption is being blocked from even happening, and we have few cases, exceptions, but I'm confident by the time we really complete the transition that we are doing, it will be eliminated.
All organizations at all the government levels should be able to put in place a website where information can be obtained and the question can now be asked in line with the Fiscal Information Act. And I also believe that as the coordinating body for the local government, once we have a document as to what needs to be done, we'll use our structure to obtain such information.
The center intends to subject over 500 government agencies, 36 states of the Federation, as well as 774 local government councils to its transparency and integrity tests this year. Ahmed Datti, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, residents in Dutse Sokale community in Bwari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory are groaning from the effects of water scarcity in the community, which they say has made life difficult for them. The residents say that the community, which depends on potable water from the FCT Water Board, has been cut off from access to potable water for over a week. Trust TV's Sagir Ibrahim visited the community and now reports.
Water, an indispensable necessity of life. Unfortunately, these residents have to find alternative means of getting water as the scarcity bites harder.
My house is somewhere around there. I don't know if you can see that. And I have to walk all the way down, to the borehole, down this axis. Every day. I mean, before I can be able to use water and go to work. If I don't do this routine every morning, I can't get to work. I can't do almost anything at all.
This is Sokale in Dutse Alaje, a community just 15 minutes away from Lower Usuma Dam in Bwari Area Council and the city's water source. Residents say they've not had water for more than 7 days and are struggling to find alternative sources as the community depends on the FCT Water Board for potable water.
For the past 1 week now, we've been out of water. And even before now, they do come and go. We still like 2 days without water, then maybe 1 day it will come. But this one has been the longest I've experienced. Guys, the 6 of it, 600. And one truck is 100 naira.
A truck of it?
The truck is 1,200, 12 rubbers.
Okay, 1,200. That is 6,600.
They also decried the hike in water price by vendors who have taken advantage of the scarcity.
Before it's 30 naira for a jerry can now. Because it's scarcity, that's why it's already now. When there is 1,000 to go,
They say that although they had approached the water board to complain, not much was done to remedy their plight.
The reason is because it says some people living in the community are not paying water board. The water board now says some people adjusted their meter. So what water board will have done simply go to the people or to the compound that you think they adjusted their meter and disconnected them, not using one person's mistake to affect everybody.
Not once, not twice now. So how do we get this information? It's from the water board. If you go to the office, they say no, they are not in charge of that. This one is other from the above, this and that and that and that. That the town, people in the town are complaining that they don't have water, so they have to cut here that the lower hand. So that is it. We the poor masses here living in this area, we're the ones suffering it.
With inflation of food prices, poor electricity supply, bad roads, and even insecurity, residents lamented that the water scarcity has made living in the nation's capital city more difficult and called for quick government intervention to avert the water crisis. Sagir Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
And in the Northeast, the Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria Northeast Chapter has appealed to the federal government to look into the plight of the baking industry to avert an impending industrial action. The association, which has threatened to embark on strike, says the action is to protest the skyrocketing prices of flour and other ingredients. Ibrahim Ismail tells us more.
This bakery has about 200 employees, but because of the sharp increase in prices of flour, sugar, and other ingredients, the chief executive of the company said there is no job security. Muhammad Sani, who is the Northeast chairman of Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria, said the atmosphere is not conducive for bakers with a 20% increase in price of flour. He said the industry will witness job losses if nothing is done to regulate the prices. Price of flour now ranges between 25,000 and 27,500 naira. Same with other ingredients. Butter that cost 6,000 naira in 2020 now goes for almost 20,000 naira.
zuwa sama kadan ake yi. To kaga wannan bangaren kayayyakin yin biredi ne komai.
We use about 10 ingredients. Their prices have also increased because of poor exchange rate policy and the dollar problem. Everything have skyrocketed. The association also urged federal government to boost wheat farming to scale up flour production locally, which can discourage importation. Some workers are afraid of the impending financial crisis that will follow after the industrial action.
Seriously, we will get a problem, because if we go for strike, the company will be at least locked. So the company will not take the responsibility of their staff, because if you work, you will get your distance. If you don't work, you will not get anything.
On the flip side, bread consumers said they would be affected by the bakers' strike.
Because this is something that we used to buy less than 300 naira, 200, 250, at most 300. But now it is being sold 350. This is in some areas, and this is far from the grass, from the root. So how do you expect somebody that bought it here and want to sell it again? It's going to be almost 400.
Many have attributed the hike in price of flour to the high cost of wheat, which is blamed on the Russia-Ukraine war. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
The Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) on Thursday directed its over 50 affiliate unions to mobilize their members across the country over ongoing continuous closure of all public universities in Nigeria. The Congress specifically said reports at its disposal from a meeting of its Central Working Committee showed that there is lack of progress in the negotiations with the leadership of all 4 university-based unions. Rising from their National Executive Council meeting on Thursday, the leadership of NLC, led by its president Ayuba Waba, said the action became imperative, sequel to the government's lackadaisical attitude towards resolving the protracted issues in the universities. Now, despite spending 3.4 billion naira on primary education in 2 years and another 6 billion naira for post-primary schools in the 2022 budget, secondary school students in Taraba State are protesting the decayed infrastructure in some government schools. This protest, specifically by hundreds of students of Salihu Dogo Secondary School, was spurred by the lack of learning materials, science laboratory equipment for science practicals, as well as the dilapidated state of classrooms. The report.
Wednesday, 15th of June 2022 began just like any other day for the teachers and students of Salihu Dogo Government Day Secondary School in Taraba State. But the day did not end as it started, as students of the school decided to say enough is enough to the horrible learning conditions they are subjected to. The students staged a peaceful protest to express dissatisfaction with the dilapidated school infrastructure, overcrowded classrooms, and unequipped laboratory for science students. Trust TV learns that Salihu Dogo Secondary School has over 1,000 students with 100 to 150 students clubbed in one classroom. Presently, 266 students are already sitting for the senior secondary school examinations with no adequate preparations to guarantee success. The situation is what the students were determined to change through the strike action. The identities of the students who spoke to Trust TV were shielded to protect them from being victimized.
We decided to do it on our own because, unfortunately, if you are to look at our school environment, you will feel a big pity for us, the students, where the ceilings are being destroyed. Nothing seems to be working good for us in the school. We don't have library, and then we have library prefects. What's the use of being a library prefect without having library in the school? We have kitchen prefects, but there's no food, nothing. Some of the students do sit on the floor to attend to lessons, lectures. Some bring mud from their house to lay it on the class, sit and receive lectures. So all these things will work out if the government or the school authority won't provide furniture or seats for the students to sit and receive their lectures.
Actually, what's happened, it was the students that embarked on a protest about the lack of desks in the school.
However, despite picture evidence by journalists who paid a visit to the school in the States, the government denied, claiming that the school was well equipped with adequate learning materials.
Sitting on the floor, hanging by the windows, first and foremost, I went to the principal's office. After some interaction with the principal, I directed her to organize the students for me on the assembly ground, which I met with the students and the staff on the assembly ground. I addressed the assembly of more than 40 minutes. I addressed them seriously and then also gave them some counseling tips.
It is no longer news that schools face the challenge of inadequate learning facilities, despite huge resources governments both at state and national level claim to inject into the education sector in the country. This is evident in the yearly budgetary allocations for improving learning conditions in school and employment of qualified and adequate teachers.
Now, the information officer of the Plateau State Pilgrim Board, Namu Sanusi, has attributed the delay in airlifting intending pilgrims to the slow pace of providing the required visas by the relevant authorities for the pilgrims. Sanusi, however, said that the board on Monday had received over 500 visas out of the 826 slots for the state, adding that in the next 3 days, the remaining visas will be ready and the pilgrims airlifted to the Holy Land. The information officer explained that the board has already booked 2 planes for the pilgrims, with the first one expected to airlift 500. According to him, the remaining 326 will be attached to some pilgrims in Bauchi for airlifting, adding that there was no cause for alarm as the 826 pilgrims will surely be airlifted to the Holy Land.
My executive secretary, Barrister Awal Abdullah, addressed pilgrims yesterday, telling them that they should exercise patience because of the visa. Because what is causing the delays now is the visa. All what is remaining now, we've gotten 500, almost 600 visas, but only 50-something visas now they are yet to be done. And by the grace of God, he just called me now that I should call all the intended pilgrims that they should come after their meeting now, because they're having a board meeting now. After the meeting, they will just address the pilgrims. Probably all the second and the first batch will go to Bauchi today, by the grace of God, because the border will be closed just the remaining 3 days now. From today, Friday, Saturday, the border will be closed by 12. Or Monday. So definitely this is the only 3 days that's remaining. And by the grace of God, I am assuring you that according to what the executive secretary said yesterday, all of the pretending will be lifted today to Bauchi, inshallah.
We'll now take a quick break. The news hour continues shortly. Join us again. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Ogun 1 Area Controller, Nigeria Customs Service, Bamidele Makinde, has disclosed that the rate of smuggling has increased at the Idiroko border axis in Ogun State as the Eid al-Kabir festivities approach. Makinde disclosed this on Monday while briefing newsmen at Idiroko, Ogun State. Abbas Ibrahim Dalibi has more.
Business activities are booming as the Eid al-Kabir Salah celebration looms. And as the day draws nearer, rice smugglers have stepped up the smuggling of rice. But the men and officers of the Nigerian Customs Service are on the neck of the smugglers. The area controller said, as a result of increased alertness, officers of the command had intercepted 2 trucks of Dangote cement conveying 882 bags of foreign parboiled rice right inside Abeokuta metropolis.
There will be the intensity of movement of trading activities, but unfortunately enough, foreign rice is not supposed to be part of it. We have enough of local rice in Nigeria, so it has led to increase in smuggling of rice.
The controller stressed that his operatives act under the Section 46 and 169 of the Custom Excise Management Act, SEMA, Cap C45 of the Law of Federation of Nigeria to effect the seizures.
In line with Section 46 and 169, respectively, of Customs and Excise Management Act, Cap C45, Law of Federation 2004. As a whole, a total of 8,417 bags with an estimated value of 131,145,277 naira, which is equivalent of 14 trailer loads, was seized during the period under review.
Also announced the arrest of petroleum tanker laden with 45 liters of adulterated diesels being imported into the country, pointing out that the adulterated content could have harmed consumers if it got to the market.
A fuel tanker suspected to contain 45,000 liters of adulterated diesel with an estimated duty-paid value of 81,823,200 naira only, abandoned by a suspected bunkerer who absconded upon sighting our operatives along Shagamu-Ijebu Expressway. Ogun State was also seized.
Other items intercepted include 23,400 pairs of footwears, 289 cartons of tomato paste, 1,100 packets of tramadol, as well as several sacks and rafts of weed suspected to be cannabis sativa. Value of the contraband seized will attract duty payable value, DPV, was over 1.29 billion naira. From Idiroko border axis in Ogun State, Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
Now, it was a busy Thursday for the House of Representatives as it, among other things, participated in a public hearing on a bill for an act to repeal the Nigeria Institute of Transport Technology and other resolutions. Details of this and more in this report.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, on Thursday disclosed that Nigeria recorded 3,700 road accidents in the fourth quarter of the year 2021. Gbajabiamila stated this during a public hearing on a bill for an act to repeal the Nigeria Institute of Transport Technology organized by the House Committee on Transport. The Speaker, who was represented by Deputy Leader of the House, Peter Patterson, said the bill, when passed, will encourage economic diversification and provide investment and employment.
No doubt, if this sector is properly utilized and harnessed, the sector can sufficiently sustain the Nigerian economy and liberate us from the current overdependence on oil.
Chairman, House Committee on Transport Tajuddin Abbas, in his remark, noted that developing nations have an alarming figure of road mishaps, which stood at about 1.3 million per annum, stressing that Nigeria is not spared of such crashes.
We as a nation must wake up if you intend to recognize and be respected in the Committee of Nations. It is therefore imperative that we upgrade and equip the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology to a world-class institution so that it can compete favorably with other transport institutions.
The Minister of State Transport, Bemisola Saraki, while commending the House for organizing the public hearing, appealed that the National Assembly should repeal and reenact the Transport Technology Bill for the overall interest of Nigerians.
The Ministry supports the general principle of the bill, which is geared towards ensuring that NITT becomes a more professional, practical, and future-driven institution which will serve as a hub to produce the much-needed manpower in our nation's transport sector.
Also, on Thursday, the House urged the Nigerian Petroleum Company Limited to open more petrol depots across the country as part of urgent measures to curb the scarcity of the product. It also called for proper regulation of the operations of private depots that receive supplies from the NPLC only to resell at exorbitant prices to pump stations. The House passed a resolution during plenary after considering a motion moved by Representative Uju Kingsley on need to establish more petrol depots in Nigeria. The House mandated its Committee on Petroleum Resources downstream to ensure compliance. Meanwhile, the House has passed for second reading a bill seeking to establish an Entrepreneurship Development Bank of Nigeria. Leading the debate on its general principles, sponsor of the bill, Benjamin Kalu Kalu, stated that the bill seeks to enhance youth access to finances with a view to expressing their natural creativity and technological know-how in providing problem-solving services. He added that the bill focuses on Nigerian youth and contemplated providing improved access to finance for youth entrepreneurs in innovation, manufacturing, agriculture, and trade.
Financial inclusion of the youth has a ripple effect in curing poverty and other indices of the SDG. Therefore, if we put a structure in place in line with what the African Development Bank is doing at the moment, where they announced that at the end of this month, they are opening about 13 youth entrepreneurship development bank across Africa. And Nigeria and Ghana happen to be those that will be benefiting from it.
And away from Nigeria, at least 4 Sudanese demonstrators were killed Thursday as the security forces sought to quash mass rallies of protesters demanding an end to military rule, and security forces fired tear gas and stun grenades to disperse tens of thousands of protesters, the latest crackdown on the anti-coup movement in the past 8 months. Reports say that so far 105 have been killed from months of protest-related violence. Authorities disrupted internet and phone lines since the early hours of Thursday to prevent mass gatherings. Troops and police blocked off roads leading to both army headquarters and the presidential palace. The latest protests come on the anniversary of a previous coup in 1989 that toppled the country's last elected civilian government and ushered in 3 decades of iron-fisted rule by Omar al-Bashir. Let's now take a look at sports updates put together by Adeni Ajishafe.
The maiden edition of International Marathon in the Federal Capital Territory, tagged Abuja International Marathon AIM, will debut on 17 December 2022. The race, which will be grouped into 2 categories of 5-kilometer fun road race, men and women full marathon international elite runners, will have the theme A Race for Unity, to foster unity and peace while increasing FCT resident general well-being as a leverage on health benefits of running, jogging, and general exercise. At press briefing in Abuja, the Minister of State, FCT, Ajia Ramatu Aliyu, represented by Lucas Stephanus, said the Abuja International Marathon also aspires to be a much-anticipated event that will draw runners, international media, and tourists to witness a world-class event in Nigeria. While applauding the initiator of Abuja International Marathon, the minister said the event will mark the beginning of another avenue for investment opportunities in Nigeria.
It is something that people pay money to get, but it came to us free of charge. So I want to applaud those who took the initiative to bring this marathon to Abuja.
Managing Director, Abuja International Marathon, Suzanne Ogunfumiloro, says one of the aims of hosting the marathon is to rival the likes of New York, London, and other marathons around the world.
Each one of us, especially the Sporting Press, who are our #1 stakeholders in this project, we can build a race that will rival the best of best around the world, like New York, London, and so forth. We will do that in record time.
Project Coordinator, Abuja International Marathon, Femi Abegunde, said the event will positively impact the socio-economic lives of Abuja residents, especially in the areas of hospitality and transportation, while also positioning the FCT as a destination for sports.
For us, the focus is very simple, because we can't overemphasize the socio-economic benefits of the marathon, first to the FCT itself, and of course to the people.
The 42-kilometer race will begin from the city gate through the interesting part of the SCT and end at the Eagle Square, with local and foreign runners who will be competing for $80,000 cash prize. Senator Ayo Akinlelure, who was on hand to give the nod of the legislature, says the National Assembly support the event as it will enhance the image of Nigeria in the international community.
The national
And with that, we wrap up the news hour on Trust Television. You can watch more via all our social media platforms, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.